Good evening, everybody. It is now 7 o'clock Central, right at the top of the hour. We will go ahead and get started with our Outdoor Ethics and Conservation Roundtable for February. This month, we are going to be talking about outdoor ethics guides and advisors, and we have some really great presentations for you tonight, including some interviews with some guides and advisors. So just a couple reminders before we get started. If you are a youth and you're participating tonight, we would ask that you please turn off your cameras. Also, we will ask that as you join and as you come in, please make sure that your audio or that your microphone is muted. That way we won't hear all the background noise from everyone that's coming in, and we'll be able to focus on the events that are happening tonight. So with that said, we've already mentioned, please go ahead and introduce yourself in the chat box. We like to know what councils we have and who's here and whatnot. So please, in the chat box, put your name and your council's name in that box. And then, as always, we get these topics, the things that we cover, from you. We like to know what you want to hear about in the roundtables and what topics you're curious about. We also like to have the opportunity to continuously improve. These roundtables, we've been going now for probably about a year now, and we have had a survey, an evaluation that occurs right after each of the roundtables. So if you can either go to this website that you see on your page, or take your phone and scan the QR code and fill out that survey afterwards. That gives us some feedback about the roundtable and helps us to improve further in the future, and also be able to know what topics people are interested in. All right. So for tonight, please remember to mute your microphones. We will go ahead and do the Pledge of Allegiance, as well as the Scout Oath and Law and the Outdoor Code. So please follow me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. 2. All right, please follow me in the Scout Oath. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, and to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. And the Scout law: a Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. And then the Outdoor Code: as an American, I will do my best to be clean in my outdoor manners, be careful with fire, be considerate in the outdoors, and be conservation minded. All right, so the agenda for tonight, we've already done the welcome and the opening. Our safety moment, which is coming up next, we'll be talking about preparing for high adventure. Believe it or not, summer's coming up pretty quickly, so it's time now to start preparing for that. We'll then go through the Outdoor Ethics Guide Handbook and have some video presentations from pre-recorded interviews for outdoor ethics guides and advisors. We'll talk a little bit about the role of the Outdoor Ethics Guide Advisor. And then for the remainder of the time, we'll just have announcements, Q&A, and then we will adjourn at about 8:30 Central. That being said, if you have questions while we are presenting the material, please go ahead and type them in the chat box. We have several people monitoring that to make sure that we gather all the questions and get those answered. And as always, this is currently being recorded and will be posted on Outdoor Ethics-BSA after the fact. All right, with that said, let's turn it over to our presenter for the High Adventure Safety Moment.
Hey, hi everyone, glad you could join us tonight. So as we're thinking about high adventure, we need to manage our risk and be physically and medically prepared. Next slide, Matt. Okay, so high adventure trips are physically demanding and have inherent risks, as each crew member needs to understand how to mitigate the risks. First of all, identify any medical issues by completing the AHMR and identify those risk factors and really have an open conversation with your medical professional. If you have, for example, a CPAP and you are going to be up in the mountains, are you going to carry that with you, or are you comfortable being without that for the 8 or 10 days that you're going to be out there? So you really need to have that open conversation to manage those risks. Also need to decide if you're physically fit. That includes your cardiorespiratory fitness, your muscular endurance, and your muscular strength. I'm always struck by a leader came back from Philmont, and the assumption was that the football player would have no problem, so therefore didn't have to train with the rest of the crew. Only when they got out there, there's a big difference between playing football and hiking 20 miles at Philmont. So you need to make sure that you are looking at all three of those fitness and endurance topics and thinking about what you need to do for training. And don't make assumptions that an athlete is already trained and ready to go. Or make the assumption that a scrawny 14-year-old is not trained and ready to go. So make sure that you're looking at what you want to do and training appropriately, no matter your skill level, to make sure that the endurance and strength and fitness is there. As always, with any of our safety moments, you can check out scouting.org, and they have all of these safety moments available for you to work with your units on all different topics. So with that, we'll end our safety moment for today.
Thank you. We'll go ahead and turn the time over to Paula Booth now.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Paula Booth, and I'm the Vice Chair of Program Operations. I have the great privilege of working with the Outdoor Ethics and Conservation Work Group. I just wanted to say that after a year, we have done some great roundtables and have many more coming up. The Outdoor Ethics Guide and Advisor is one of my favorites. I want to especially thank the outstanding dedicated roundtable team. This team works very hard to bring a quality program every time we do a presentation. Matt Durant is great at doing the openings and many times has been presenter as well as running the show. Thank you, Matt. Michelle Bierstadt has done a super presentation on camporees, is our safety moment specialist, and has told us how her council does outdoor ethics. You're great, Michelle. I want to especially thank Paul Shimke. He has made himself so much a part of these programs. He sends you your invites and reminders. He answers your questions and makes fantastic promotion pieces and the entire show. We have wanted to do Outdoor Ethics Guide for a very long time. He came up with a unique idea and proceeded to do it. He is one of the major players in tonight's program. Paul, we would be here all night if we thanked you for everything. The person that has always had the most faith in us is Andrea Watson. She has the patience of Job and always makes us feel better. Thank you, Andrea. Last but not least, hopefully, is Chandra Clark, who has been working on the roundtable since the beginning and has done just about everything there is to do, but be invited as a guest. She had a big part in the Outdoor Ethics Guide and Advisor Handbook. You are the best. At this time, I will turn this program over to Chandra to start the show. You're great, Chandra. Are you here?
I'm here.
Yay!
There's nothing like a computer crashing right before you have to log onto Zoom to get your adrenaline going. So thank you to the Roundtable for inviting me to come speak. When Paul called me to ask for me to help present the Outdoor Ethics Guide Handbook, we discussed some of the questions that he's heard over the past couple of years. So I thought I'd give a high level of how this handbook was created. Some of you may know and others may not know, in 2016, January 2016 was where we saw the shift from leave no trace to the phrasing of outdoor ethics, so that we could encompass not only leave no trace, but tread lightly and the outdoor code and the land ethic. So all of our materials shifted language, and we saw the retirement of the leave no trace awards for both Cub and Boy Scout program, and the retirement of the leave no trace trainer youth position of leadership within the troop. So to replace that, the Outdoor Ethics Guide was created. And so that launched in January of 2016. And it was in that year that the Boy Scout Program Committee realized they wanted some guidance for that role. They wanted a handbook that matched every youth position of leadership. And so a call was put out, and a handful of Leave No Trace Master Educators was pulled together from across the country to think about how we would create a handbook for that position of leadership. There were a couple things that we identified early on. One, we knew not every council had folks that were trained to deliver outdoor ethics education. So while we didn't intend for the handbook to replace any type of training that can be offered, we wanted to at least make sure that there were resources available, not only for the youth holding the leadership position, but also the adult, because we knew that there were units that perhaps the youth was interested in holding the position, but maybe they didn't have a trained adult to help guide them. And so when you look at the Outdoor Guide Handbook, it's actually broken up into 3 sections. Pages 4 through 11 address specifically the youth role. Pages 12 through 14 are addressed to the adult advisor that may be helping the youth in the unit. And then the back section, appendix 1 through 3, pages 15 through 25. So when you break it down by the pages, you can see almost half of the handbook is really resources. The committee tried to get folks to think out of the box using some of the tools that we were already utilizing in units, like the duty roster, and just putting an outdoor ethics spin on it. If you haven't looked at the appendix and the resources, I highly encourage you to take a look. There's some great information in there, and I think people are usually surprised when they see how useful some of it is. Sorry, there's a little bit of feedback here. One of the big questions that I hear a lot is, why was this not printed where you can purchase it in the Scout Shop? The reason we opted and we recommended to the Boy Scout Program Committee not to print this is because a lot of the material is third party. With Leave No Trace and Tread Lightly, they update their websites pretty regularly. And so our hope was that we could be responsive as links were broken, that they could be changed quickly. But also because we don't own most of the material for the training for Leave No Trace or Tread Lightly. So we opted to be able to print it, or you can view it from your smartphone or a computer device and be able to print it yourself.
My brother got me this ring when he was.
So that's a really high level of the Outdoor Ethics Guide Handbook. I hope all of you have had the opportunity to log into scouting.org and to download it. If you choose not to download it or print it, it's set up in a way that you can actually click on the headings in the table of contents, and it'll quickly hyperlink you to the section that you're looking for. So it really was designed well to be able to use it from a computer. I don't know if anyone has any questions. We can save those till the end, but I'll hang out. But that is the high level of the handbook. So thank you for the opportunity to share that with you.
Thank you, Chandra. We'll go ahead now and go on to Paul Shimke and turn it over to Paul.
Before I start, let me talk. So my idea was, we talk about the Outdoor Ethics Guide, and I thought, rather than just have us adults talk about what it is, let's hear from the troops. I mean, when I was a Scoutmaster, I know how we did it in our troop, and what I like to see as a Scoutmaster But those aren't the only ideas out there. So let's hear from some of the youth. We had 4 youth who were willing to be interviewed, and I'm going to show you those interviews right now. And 3 of their advisors were able to join us as well. With that, I'm going to turn over to the video now and start playing here for you. So enjoy. This is about a half hour altogether for the 4 interviews. Hello, Sid. I just wanted to thank you for talking to us about being an outdoor ethics guide. Can you introduce yourself for us, please?
Sure. My name is Sita. I am currently the Outdoor Ethics Guide for Troop 761 in Ashburn, PA. I've been an Outdoor Ethics Guide for 2 years until date.
All right. What other leadership positions have you had in that time?
So I started with Outdoor Ethics Guide. I recently just came out of a 2-term stint as ASPL. So now I'm back to where I was originally, and it's a really enjoyable experience, let's just say.
Okay, good. So were you your troop's first outdoor ethics guide?
Yes, as far as I know, before me, our troop did not have any form of outdoor ethics guide.
Okay. So was that something that you came up with, or was it something that a senior patrol leader or scoutmaster suggested to you, or?
So you see, after reading through the scout book, I was looking for a position, of course. So I came across the position of outdoor ethics guide, and I was noticing that a lot of the things that I did seemed to match up perfectly with that specific position. So then I talked to my scoutmaster at SPL. Okay, what can I be this position? Can we introduce this role into our troop? And they said yes. So here we are.
Okay, good. So how did you prepare yourself to be an outdoor ethics guide?
So I did a few trainings, of course. So we had the L&T online training. I did 2 of those. Then the outdoor ethics awareness training. And there was also a few awards, the World Conservation Award, Outdoor Ethics Awareness Award, Outdoor Ethics Action Award, and a large chunk of conservation-related merit badges like sustainability, environmental science, soil and water conservation, forestry, oceanography, and such.
Okay, awesome. So how would you say your troops supported you as being an outdoor ethics guide? Do you think they've been supportive to you?
Yeah, actually, my troop has been really, really receptive to the whole outdoor ethics message. Like even before I came in as our first outdoor ethics guide, our troop still took outdoor ethics like very seriously. We used to do a lot of conservation work even before this whole OE guide thing was introduced.
Great. So what kind of things do you do now as an outdoor ethics guide?
So right now I manage pretty much all of our troops' conservation efforts, trail cleanups, trash pickups, invasive species removals, etc.
Okay. So you do troop activities, and do you do activities during meetings as well?
Yes, I also perform regular trainings with our troop, games and such on meetings and campouts.
Okay. Could you give an example of some of the training you do for the troop during a meeting?
So usually it ends up being short presentations about certain outdoor ethics topics, including leave no trace, invasive plants, recycling. And on campouts, we do games like, and one that I like a lot to do is trash timeline. You have a set of junk items and you have to match them up with the amount that they take to degrade in the environment.
Sounds great. Sounds great. So for troop activities, outside meetings and stuff, do you have any that you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, actually. So we as a troop, we have a few conservation projects that we do. First of all, there's a trail called the W&OE Trail. It's a 35-mile trail that stretches from Leesburg to Washington, D.C., Virginia, of course. So we have adopted a 1-mile section of that trail, and every 3 months we go there and we pick up trash and other junk that we see lying on the trail, just try and make it a bit more enjoyable for the people using it. Another thing we do is we also have there's this park near us called Cub Run. We go there every 6 months or so and pull out any of the invasive Japanese stilt grass that grows in our area to help promote the growth of the native plants here.
So Sheil, as a scouter and a dad of an outdoor ethics guide, is there any advice you'd give to a troop, to the scouters in the troop who are looking to implement an outdoor ethics guide for the first time?
Yeah, my recommendation would be that we always keep in mind one of the main goals of BSA and scouting, which is protection of the environment. And once we have that goal in mind, as adults, we can easily help out our scouts understand that, whether that means providing them with, conservation projects opportunities, whether that means providing them with trainings, or even just talking to them about it. Simple things like talking about conservation and what's good for the environment, things like leaving no trace, they go a long way. As an example, these kind of discussions will influence the scouts, even when doing something, simple things like getting plastic bottled water versus reusable bottles for hikes, using the reusable mess kits for camping, or even taking care of the environment when they go in for their hikes. Not throwing stones, not disturbing, breaking tree branches, simple things like that. I think that'll go a long way.
Right. Thank you. And Siddha, to wrap things up, I just want to ask you, is there anything else you'd like to say that I didn't give you a chance to say so far?
Yeah, so I have some more advice. So right now, it's okay if you're the first OE guide in your troop and you don't know what to do. You can set that precedent, just like I said before. But so even if your troop isn't receptive to your message at first, they'll change eventually. Like since I become OE guide, our troop has went like over a massive change. Like conservation in terms of like large scale projects was almost unheard of. And now pretty much every other Eagle project is about conservation. Like I just did my Eagle project about conservation and it's like the 10th of that topic. So personally, I think that conservation is a core principle. So like Robert Baden-Powell once said, try to leave this world a little better than you found it. That quote just demonstrates that outdoor ethics really is one of those core founding principles of scouting. Like you can't just keep expecting to take from the environment in camping, hiking, and other activities and just not give back. And outdoor ethics is that way that we give back.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Siddha. I appreciate your sharing with us and Sushil as well. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
And best of success and continue your efforts. Thanks.
Thank you.
Brody and Tara, thank you so much for agreeing to talk to us here at the Roundtable. We really appreciate hearing your experience and sharing it with everybody here. So, hey, Brody, could I ask you to start by introducing yourself?
Yeah, I'm Brody, a proud member of Troop 510 out of Naperville, Illinois, and I am the Outdoor Ethics Guide for my troop.
All right, excellent. And Tara?
I'm Tara Holman. I am the Adult Training Coordinator for Troop 510, and I am in the process of working my ticket.
Okay, thank you. So if I could start with you, Brody.
Mhm.
So how long have you been an outdoor ethics guide?
Going on 2 years.
Okay. How did you come to become the outdoor ethics guide?
Well, I wanted to get my troop the Summit Sustainability Award when I went in 2020. And in order to do that, I had to become the outdoor ethics guide so that I kind of learn the ropes of how to do it.
Okay, good. So you've stuck it out since then. So obviously you like the position here. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
What do you like about being an outdoor ethics guide?
Just being able to like lead a very, I don't want to say small, but a very lesser known job in my troop personally. And being
Okay.
able to lead the younger scouts in how to just be kind of the outdoors and the entire troop for that matter.
Yep. Excellent. So what kind of things do you do as an outdoor ethics guide?
Plan meetings is a big one, like highway cleanups and cleaning up a campsite when we're done with it. And just like teaching how to be kind in the outdoors.
Okay. And do you do anything during troop meetings?
We do. We usually clean up our campsite when we're done with it. And we clean up our campsite when we're done with it, and we make sure that we leave it better than it was when we got there.
Okay. So do you do anything at the troop meetings before you go on your outings?
We do. We talk about what you should bring to the camp out to minimize garbage and waste and a trace that we were there.
Do you feel like you've made a difference by being the outdoor ethics guide? Have you helped your troop?
I have, because I've taught many valuable skills.
Good.
And I've taught other troops how to do it. Like my old Cub Scout pack, I did our trunk or treat where I set up an outdoor ethics friendly campsite and taught them what it looks like and how to set it up.
Awesome. What kind of training did you have to become an outdoor ethics guide? I mean, did you learn from somebody who was an outdoor ethics guide before you, or were you the first? And how did you kind of came at it from being at Summit? And so how did you learn what to do?
I was when I got the job at Summit, I was very happy. And I had to ask around my troop, ask the adults, ask the scoutmaster how to manage this position.
What would you tell a scout who's going to become an outdoor ethics guide? What advice would you give them? What thing would you think would help them the most?
Learn how to talk to a large group is a big one, because you're not talking to one person at a time, it's the entire troop. And depending on how big the troop is, you're going to have to talk to like 20 to 50 people at once.
What education would you recommend for somebody becoming an outdoor ethics guide if they had some time to plan ahead, which you didn't have?
Really just ask around. And I went to the Adirondacks this year for high adventure, and we went to my trek leader's house, and we learned how to set up our packs and set up the food so that we left as little waste behind as we could.
Excellent. So that's a great way to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Let me turn over to you, Tara. What do you see your role as an outdoor ethics guide, advisor to outdoor ethics guides?
So we didn't have a guide in the troop. We actually didn't have an advisor or a guide until Brody took on the position. And there really wasn't much in the way of information to pass down to him. He's kind of pieced it all together because he's an older scout. He knows who to ask what. So when I went to Wood Badge and I was putting together my ticket, one of the items I saw that the troop could use some help with was putting together an outdoor ethics program for the troop and then for the guide to then implement for future outdoor ethics guides. So Brody and I have been working together to put a lot of these things together so that the next guide that comes through will already have this presented to them and be able to implement. Brody's putting together a recipe book with instructions for leave no trace friendly recipes. I've put together a Chutes and Ladders game. So that as the Webelos come in and we have a Webelos open house, our outdoor ethics guide, in this case, it's Brody, but the next outdoor ethics guide can play a game with them. So other things that I put together to kind of help the next guide coming through with maybe having some information already available to them.
Right, thank you. So were you able to find any training before you became the outdoor ethics guide?
So the training in our council is limited. So I was able to patch together some online training courses. I took the Leave No Trace online awareness course, Tread Lightly 101, and I watched the National Park Service Leave No Trace videos. Now, one of the things when I went to Wood Badge, because I took it started in May, I think, because of COVID. I did tell Brody that if he became the outdoor ethics guide at the next change of jobs at the next court of honor, that he would be stuck working with me and helping me develop all of these plans so that it would be a Holman tag team effort to leave the next outdoor ethics guide with information. So he took on the outdoor ethics job knowing that he was going to be by my side for 6 months, helping me come up with all of these and implement all these ideas that I had.
Teamwork is a good thing. Teamwork
Poor
is
guy.
a very good thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. So,
But
Brody,
it is going to be fun. I'm sorry. It is going to be fun that we get to leave something behind to the troop. So he's going to
Always
make
is.
his mark. I'm going to do what I'm going to do, but we get to do it together.
So Brody, is there anything that you'd like to tell me that I've forgotten to ask you about at this point?
Well, I feel like how is outdoor ethics part of the scouting program? It's part of the scouting program because it's in the outdoor code. That's what I'm looking for. Part of the outdoor code is to be considering the outdoors and conservation minded. And at my troop meetings, we say the outdoor code before the meeting really starts. So I feel like by reiterating that, it's helped a lot of people like realize, oh, I'm not being considerate in the outdoors. How can I change this?
Good. It's always good to feel like you're doing something that's making a difference, doesn't it? Doesn't it feel good?
Mhm.
Absolutely. So, Tara, is there anything that I forgot to ask you or that you'd like to tell us?
Just listen to the scouts on this one. They do so much more camping, I think, than some of the adults do, that they really are the voice, I think, for outdoor ethics. And I think instead of top down, where the adults are telling the scouts what to do, that a bottom up approach where the scouts are telling the adults how to cook better and how to clean better and how to manage the resources better. I think this is one of those positions where it works better when the scouts are training the adults.
Thanks so much.
Mhm.
Guys, it has been awesome getting to know you and talk to you. Thanks so much for sharing with us. And
problem.
I wish you guys all the best. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ian and Melissa, thank you so much for sharing your experiences as an outdoor ethics guide and outdoor ethics guide advisor with the rest of us. We're thrilled to have you here. And I'd like to start off by asking Ian a question. So Ian, could you please tell me about your troop and about your experience as an outdoor ethics guide?
Yeah, so my troop 407 is from Claremont, California, and the Greater Los Angeles Area Council. And it's currently around 60 plus people with a boy and a girl troop. And I used to be the outdoor ethics guide for them for about a year. And I'm currently the SPL. And my experiences as an outdoor ethics guide was probably a little different than most others, given the fact that I had to do it mostly over Zoom.
Excellent. Excellent. And Melissa, could I ask you to tell us about how did you come to be an outdoor ethics guide advisor?
Well, I originally got into sort of the outdoor ethics bailiwick of things is when I became a Leave No Trace trainer. And I did that through BSA, took the training course, and I came back with a whole bunch of ideas and excitement about teaching Leave No Trace and outdoor ethics. And I finally convinced our scoutmaster that we needed to have somebody in that role as a scout to be the outdoor ethics guide. And I've been the advisor for 4 different outdoor ethics guides now.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. So, Ian, can you tell me a bit about what did you do as an outdoor ethics guide, you know, in the middle of COVID and everything? So what all were you doing then?
Well, we were mainly doing it over Zoom, which took a bit of figuring out at first, but we mainly did PowerPoints or verbal discussions with over Zoom, and I did it much of the same way, but I also tried to spice things up a little bit with things like custom-made Jeopardies and activities like Kahoots and Gimkits in order to make it not so like monotone.
Ian, do you work with the younger scouts on getting some of the requirements done as an outdoor ethics guide? Is that something you did, working on some of the outdoor ethics requirements?
While I was the outdoor ethics guide, I think we did a virtual round robin where it was very much the same, but we did like breakout rooms, and that would be like for specific requirements relating to outdoor ethics or Leave No Trace.
Can you tell us about the training that helped you to be an outdoor ethics guide?
Well, before I became an outdoor ethics guide, I had already taken the outdoor ethics guide training, and I had taken I completed the outdoor ethics awareness award in August. So about a month before I became the official outdoor ethics guide. And then while I was taking it, I also earned and completed the Leave No Trace trainer course.
Great. So do you think that training was useful to you as an outdoor ethics guide?
Yeah, I believed it was because it helped me get ideas for what an outdoor ethics guide is, some ideas just for activities in general and how to explain them to people, and also some just general leadership skills like how to give presentations, because that was actually one of the tests that we had to take, was how to give a presentation about one of the Leave No Trace principles.
Okay, good. So were you your troop's first outdoor ethics guide?
Possibly, I don't know, before and I got there, but there was no outdoor ethics guide before I became it for the around 4 years or so that I was there beforehand.
Right. So you got to decide or define what the position is, right? You weren't following somebody else's trail.
Yeah.
Yeah. So did you like being able to do that?
I did, because I didn't really feel a whole lot of pressure on me as the outdoor ethics guide, mainly because I think there had not been one for so long. People didn't really know what expectations to have, which was a little stressful because I would be kind of like a trailblazer type thing, because I would be setting kind of the standard, but it also felt nice without having to follow in someone's shadow.
Excellent. Excellent. So let me turn to Melissa now and ask you a question. What's your role been as an outdoor ethics guide advisor?
Well, I think it's important for the advisor to be there as a support system. I mean, I can suggest different activities or ideas for the scouts. However, it's a youth-led organization. And usually I've been there when a scout, as the outdoor ethics guide, is going, hey, I thought about doing this activity, or I thought about maybe doing a round robin to help teach some of the trail to first class that the scouts need to get through. And so I've been there to sort of for them to bounce ideas off of. So that's been my position more or less. And I've also been there to help suggest that the other 3 outdoor ethics guides we've had to go and do the outdoor ethics guide training, because I think that gives them a really good understanding of what it is to be a guide.
Excellent.
As they say, I firmly believe it's sort of the EDGE method of things. So, and that's how I learn as an adult, is through that EDGE method.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Ian, now let me ask you this question. Do you think you made a difference being an outdoor ethics guide? Do you think you changed your troop?
I believe I did, even though it wasn't immediately obvious, because recently when we have been able to go back to actual outings and campouts, a lot of previous activities that people had took, which were not like really outdoor ethics, like appropriate, or leave no trace appropriate as well, I guess. They weren't really supporting of the leave no trace principles, but those activities have either stopped or substantially diminished in a way, because on our most recent campout that I went to, there was not nearly as much as trash or markings that humans had been there as there used to be.
Fantastic. Thank you. So I would just want to close off by asking you this. Is there anything else you'd like to share with everybody about your experience? Ian, or ask you first?
Not off the top of my head, no.
All right. Melissa.
I think that this is a role that can really grow within the troop, and you can have more than one outdoor ethics guide, so that the scouts are more in tune with things like the outdoor code, and making sure that they're living up to those principles that we put forth through the outdoor code, and in our activities, our actions, and our ethics. But yeah, I think the outdoor ethics is something that needs to be taught more in
Yes.
scouting. And I think it needs to be part of every aspect of scouting. I mean, a scout without ethics is really not a scout.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Ian and Melissa, thank you so much. Really appreciate your sharing your experiences, because it's very helpful to the rest of us to learn from. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sean, thank you so much for letting us talk to you about your experiences in Outdoor Ethics Guide. And I think you've got some exciting stuff to share with us. So
thanks
let
for
me
having me.
start by, could you please introduce yourself for us?
I'm Sean. I'm a Life Scout at Troop 13 in West Palm Beach, Florida.
All
I'm
right.
working on my Eagle Scout project.
Awesome. So, and you're the Outdoor Ethics Guide for your troop. So how long have you been the Outdoor Ethics Guide, and why did you become an Outdoor Ethics Guide?
I've been the Outdoor Ethics Guide for a few years. And since I started in scouting in first grade, I've sort of had a passion for the outdoors. And so it sort of made sense. It was never really a huge role at my troop, so I figured I'd want to solidify it as a role a little bit more.
Oh, thanks. So you are a Leave No Trace trainer as well, correct?
I am.
Yeah. So when did you take that training?
That was about a year ago.
Okay.
For my Eagle project, so I could train people.
Okay. Do you think it helped you as an Outdoor Ethics Guide as well?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, cool. So you've mentioned your Eagle project a couple of times. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I'm organizing a global trash pickup on February 22nd to show the impact that young people can have around the world on a single day of action. And so the beneficiary for the project is Leave No Trace, which is why I became a trainer. And I'll be training people on my committee around the world.
Okay, so who's on your committee? I mean, is this in your troop or is this?
So I have 2 representatives from my troop who are then going to organize a cleanup within the troop. And then I have someone in Kenya, Bangladesh, France, Spain, Ireland, Italy, and a few other countries.
Wow, that's that's awesome. So how long have you been working on this?
It's been a few years, sort of coming up with the whole idea and then figuring out how to implement it and make it an Eagle project.
Okay, all right. Is there anything that we can do to help you out with this?
Absolutely. So everyone can get involved. Go out on February 22nd as a group with friends, family, and pick up trash, and then head to our website, planet22nd.org, and you can track the amount of trash that you picked up. And then that's how we'll see the impact that we made.
Awesome. So we'll share some information with everybody at the roundtable on how they can do that. Well, Sean, thank you so much. This is awesome.
Thank you.
And wish you lots of success. And I bet you're going to be pretty busy between now and well, actually after February 22nd, aren't you? So we'd love to hear back from you and find out how things went. That'd be great to know. So thank you.
Will do. Thank you.
Aren't those some awesome youth there? I mean, it was really, really a pleasure for me to be able to talk to all 4 of those youth and get a great feeling that the Outdoor Ethics Guide is absolutely a needed position, a strong position, and it's making a difference. It's absolutely making a difference for everybody. I posted the link to the Planet 22nd, Sean's Eagle Project site in the chat. So you can check out his site there and see what he's doing. Pick up some trash on the 22nd. He picked it, it's 2/22/22. You get the date he picked there. So anyway, with that, I would like now to say, I think we got some good ideas, and now I would like to turn over to here we go, Dale, and if he would talk about the role of the Outdoor Ethics Advisor for a few minutes. Thanks.
First, I want to give due respect to Chandra for leading this event, and say hi to Heidi. I see you're on the call, because Heidi and Chandra were very instrumental. I was just an old Scoutmaster that was bumping along and felt that there should be something that would address the advisor. And what I mean by that is that I see so many strong leaders on here, and I see a lot of familiar faces. There's a lot of advocates on here, and you all know this, but for those of you that are new, get in touch with your emotion and how you feel about the land. Okay. Take a trainer course. Yeah, there you go. And thank you. And the lady that was an advisor that was talking to her scouts said something about, there's a lot of ethical decisions in the in outdoor ethics. Well, I would submit to her that there's ethical decisions that scouting teaches, and outdoor ethics is just a part of a scouting program. And as soon as we start figuring this out as a part of our unit program and how it fits and how we deliver our unit program, the better off I think we're going to be. You can roll down through there for me, Matt. But my first reality to you is that understand that you're going to grow more as an advisor probably than the scout. And understand that you're, let's stay right here for a minute. You're going to be the person that breaks down barriers and opens doors for your scout. Not only are you the coach, but you are the mentor. And by you understanding the topic and having some kind of a passion, you really can't be milquetoast. You have to kind of jump into this. But once you get into the outdoor ethics program, you'll figure out if you are right for it or not. We started back in 2010 when it was Leave No Trace. And we quickly soon that Tread Lightly was going to come on around 12, 13. And then we started realizing that this had to be a three-legged stool. We had to figure out how to repair the land that was being damaged and minimize our impact. So as a coach, you're gonna talk to and use this guide. I mean, you don't need to reinvent anything, and you certainly don't need to develop a program for your unit. If you just take this guide to your adult committee meeting and say, hey, this is what a guide does, this is how we can coach that guide, you got it. It's like everything else in scouting. There's a program if you just follow it. So when you look down through the aspect of breaking down barriers, that biggest element there is talking to the other adult leaders and telling them that teaching them this is an important program, helping them develop respect to listening to the scout. And honestly, if they don't do that now, they probably shouldn't be in your leadership. But then the other things are really elemental. You can use the guide for it as a planning tool for your new guide. You can help them get the training that they need. You can help them do the kind of introductions to the unit that they need. You can help them do the kind of things that Paul was alluding to in a troop meeting, help them plan for their next outing and overlay the outdoor ethics activities that they're going to do in that outing. And there are tools in this appendix that will help you do that. As you go on through the execution of it, my aspect and view of coaching, go back up a little. The coaching aspect is probably the most important to me, is that kids, it is a youth program. Kids will run the program and they will learn from their mistakes. And as a coach, I challenge anybody to look at any athletic team. I don't care if it's volleyball or tennis or golf or football or baseball that goes to the game without practicing during the week and without getting tips from their coaches during the week. So that's where you are. You're the coach. The kids are on the field. You can't be doing anything there. You can do your evaluations afterwards, but you're the coach up front. And when you're coaching these kids, ask the guided discovery questions. What do you think is going to happen if they do that? How do you think you will get that across? How do you want them to take Leave No Trace or Tread Lightly or the land ethic into their unit? Do you want it to look like a conservation piece? You'll get feedback from a scout that wants this position or wants to learn it. Then think of scenarios with your scout that you can put together that will create dilemmas for scouts to handle in their patrol or in their cooking group. This is not hard. And then you're going to run into the teachable moments. The moment where something happens and there is this stumped look on their face or there's an impact created. Then you talk about how could we do that better? How could we learn from this? And you always want to come back to the authority of the resource. And when you do that and you have a good handle on what that is, you're going to be a good coach. But this is not an easy job. I was a scoutmaster for 10 years. I did this as an outdoor ethics advocate for 10 years. And I tell you, standing up an outdoor ethics program and training folks to become passionate about this is a fun application. So, and I'll end lastly with conservation. I see some people that are using conservation as a theme, but I would submit to you that conservation is a piece of outdoor ethics. And go ahead and scroll down here a little for me, Matt. It's a piece of outdoor ethics. Keep going. And the piece is it's the healing of the land. It's really the land ethics. Stop there. That's good. And it's really the land ethic and how we're going to heal the land. And so when we start asking those ethical decisions, asking those ethical questions about what's the impact that I'm going to create, we'll start coming to better outcomes and making less impacts. But this is going to be experiential. I used to tell my kids it was a bloody nose experience. And then adults told me that was gross. The kids seem to get it. The adults are the ones that put off by it. But we learn through our experiences, and scouting is an experiential activity. So, you know, I ask you to look at your program, look at the outdoor activities you do in your program, and understand this is a tool. I call it our best PR tool. I'm in an interesting position. I've been on the council board for 15 years, and I had my council executive come up to me after the event happened in Utah, where some scouts knocked over a hoodoo. And he said, "What are we doing in our council to prevent this?" And because I was on I was in the program committee at that time. And I said, "We're teaching outdoor ethics. And so if a reporter comes and talks to you, you tell them you have a solid outdoor ethics program, your council, which is teaching young scouts how to behave out there and why they shouldn't be doing things like this." So it's a relationship piece you can have with your council leadership. And so, you know, that's kind of my passion shooting out. I hope I hit what you wanted me to hit, Paul. I can certainly take questions and chat a little more, but I'll give away to your time. I implore you to get the guide. I put it in the link. It's easily to found. Just type in Outdoor Ethics Guide on your whatever your search engine is, and you'll find it. It's a tool, and don't be afraid of it. Those of you that are master educators understand it. Those of you that are outdoor ethics advocates understand it, but use it as a tool. It was so new when it came out. In 17, I had scouts that wanted to learn how to do this. I said, "Look, I'll be your advisor." And we set up outdoor ethics guides in about 10 troops. And it was just them teaching their troop how to do the action award. And I would sit in the back of the room in a resource, and they did it. So just even if you start with the action award, one of the scouts talked about another award you could do. If you just started with the awards, they would get their interest. So that's kind of what I can say. Any questions from anybody? I don't know what the forum is for that.
Well, we'll take questions at the end, Dale.
Okay, good enough. Is that what you wanted me to hit?
Yep. Thank you so much.
Obviously, I'm a loaded cannon here, so.
There we go.
Okay.
All right, Matt.
All right. So with that said, we've got a couple announcements to make. Just a reminder that we'd like your feedback. Please, if you can, scan this QR code or go to the link right here. Let's go ahead and put that link in the chat as well, so people can get to that. But please go ahead and review this roundtable and help us make improvements in the future. Give us some ideas for things you'd like to see. Additionally, coming up this year, we've got our 2022 National Outdoor Ethics and Conservation Conference. We do this every couple of years. The last one we did fully online because of COVID issues, but we are optimistic and hoping that this one will be in person in Georgia at Burt Adams Scout Camp. So if you want to, oops, that was not supposed to happen. There we go. So if you want to get some information on that and see updates about it, just go to outdoorethics-bsa.org, and the updates are there on that page. They're very clearly marked. So this is November 10th through 13th. There's also going to be some pre-course courses and workshops and things like that happen there as well. There will be more information that will be put out about that as soon as possible. But we are actively planning this and putting this together, and it should be a fantastic event. We're also trying something new this year where if you have something that you want to present, you've got a great topic or an experience or something like that that you feel is of value to everyone to present that, we are taking requests for proposals to present at that conference. So more information about that can be found again at outdoorethics-bsa.org. Paula, I think, did you want to talk about this one?
Yes, we have now, the last 3 months or so, we've been talking about the Dan House Memorial Fund, and it has been put together. And so we will, on the website, the link is here. You can now apply for a scholarship. And all the information on how to do it is there on the website. And we hope to give 3 $150 scholarships this year. There will be some new training for the coordinators of the Master Educator courses, so they understand how the scholarship works and can share that with their council leadership. So there it is.
Those links in chat too.
We're so excited. And that's Dan on the right, giving an award at the conference in 2016 in Utah.
That was a good conference.
Yep.
All right. So we have a few upcoming Master Educator courses all over the country: Illinois, Maryland, Arizona, Minnesota, and as always at Philmont in New Mexico. These are all posted with links to registration. So the links that you see right here, those are all posted again at outdoorethics-bsa.org. At the moment, that is your go-to site for all information regarding outdoor ethics and all of these courses and whatnot. They're gathered there. So if you haven't been to that website, make the effort to go and check out all of the resources and the calendar and the items right here. But all of these courses are set to go and are going to be awesome. We hope that if you haven't taken a Master Educator course, that you will be able to register for one of these and participate in that and get that training. It's a fantastic training. I can vouch for it. All right, and then
this is mine.
Yes, Paul,
So
go ahead.
I'd like to start closing our roundtables with a little bit of a reflection, kind of the way, the old Scoutmaster in me comes out on this here. So I'd like to read this quote from Aldo Leopold, and then we'll give a little action item to everybody here. The fresh tracks of 3 deer, clear in yesterday's snow, pass through our woods. I follow the tracks backward and find a cluster of 3 beds, clear of snow, in the big willow thicket on the sandbar. The tracks then lead back by another route to the sandbar. En route, the deer have pawed at some grass tufts, nuzzling for the tender green sprouts within, and they have also drunk at a spring. So that's from the essay December in a Sand County Almanac. And for those of you who haven't read it, I strongly recommend it. And for those of you who have read it, I think you'll probably want to read it again. But anyway, here's your action. This is a great time of year for everybody to go out and find some signs of animals in your area. Try to find out what animals made those signs and what they were doing. All right. Thank you, everybody. I think with that, we're ready to go to question and answer time.